This is Dr. Martha Durham. I'm here with the Why Did They Do That podcast. I'm a psychologist here in Greenville, South Carolina, and I have a very special guest today. He's a 40-year veteran firefighter. He also makes play sets. And he's my husband, Doug Bryant. Welcome, Doug.
Thank you.
I'm so glad you're here. We're going to talk about fire, specifically arson, and then other uses of fire. And I feel like you know a whole lot about that.
Yes.
You do?
Yes. As a 40-year firefighter, you see these things, but also you're always reading about big fires or arson.
Yeah.
So just things I've learned through the years.
Well, so you were talking to me earlier about reasons that people start fires, and those were pretty fascinating. And I think you said there were 6 of them, right?
Right. There's 6 nefarious reasons.
You used a big word, y'all.
To start a fire.
Yes.
Arson. People have been starting fires for thousands of years for useful purposes.
Yes.
But these 6 categories are bad reasons you would start a fire.
And often or always illegal, right? Like,
yes.
We're looking at arson right now when you're talking about those 6 reasons.
Right.
So tell us what the reasons are.
Okay. Number 1 is revenge.
Yeah.
So if you feel like you were wronged in some way by a business partner or a spouse or girlfriend, boyfriend, you might feel inclined to hurt them in some way.
Yes.
And,
if you're a sociopath.
Right.
Yes.
And you might torch the car or, a smaller example is when I was in high school, we heard about a girl that burned up all her boyfriend's clothing in the yard.
Yes.
It's pretty minor compared to catching somebody's car on fire or their business or their house.
Sure. And let me say about that one, you might not be a sociopath if you do that. You might need some anger management help, but there's a mitigating circumstance there where he might have done terrible things to her and she's mad and she burns his clothes. It's still bad. It's probably still illegal, but that's a lot different than some of them.
Absolutely. These people have, in their mind, justified reasons for doing what they've done. Yeah. So they're not justified by the law, but in their head, they feel like it.
Before you go on, you told me about an interesting one where somebody was mad about a haircut and they burned down the salon.
This happened recently. So this is in the last month or so. A guy had a bad haircut, and they had him on film torching the salon that cut his hair.
Y'all.
But he did set himself on fire in the process.
That had to be a really bad haircut.
And now he's suing the salon. Go figure.
Oh, please.
Yeah.
Okay, so not funny, but kind of funny.
This revenge idea can go to the extremes.
Yeah.
Here in Greenville in January of 2004.
Yes.
A man that was rejected by a woman that he felt he loved.
Right.
He took it upon himself to torch the place where she lived, and it happened to be a hotel in Greenville.
Right.
So this happened in Greenville, and 6 people died because of what he did.
Goodness. That's horrible.
Yeah, it's horrible. She died. Her son died. 4 innocent people who were just in the hotel at the time died right here in Greenville. So that's bad. But the most notorious in the United States is a Happy Land nightclub fire in the Bronx, New York.
Yeah.
And it was an illegal nightclub, meaning they just had a space and they were charging people to go and, disco. But
back when there was disco, y'all.
This man,
we're that old,
was rejected at the door by the door people.
Yes.
And he lit the place on fire.
Yes. That's a terrible
The
way.
combination of what he did, plus it was an illegal venue, they didn't have the correct fire codes and fire exits and sprinklers. So 87 people died in that
Just
fire.
Tragic. And that's tragic for so many reasons, because the place should have had a safe space for people to listen to that music. It just was not set up right. Plus, he was a sociopath or psychopath, whatever you want to call him. What are some of the other ways?
Okay, so revenge, that's the first one. The second one I came to is terrorism or civil unrest. So if you want to make a statement at a protest, you might start fires. That happens at some of the bigger protests. There's fires.
Yeah.
And also terrorism, just to show a group of people, or there was church burnings in the 60s.
Yeah.
That's terrorism.
Yeah.
And it's
awful. It's terrible. There's a difference between a protest that is a peaceful protest. When you start fires, when you start property destruction, it takes away your message. So I just don't have a lot of time for that, because you're probably destroying businesses and an area where, the people who you're protesting for, sometimes you're making their lives harder. So.
Right. So that's another one. And it's hard to find out who did this because there's so much chaos and confusion and amount of people.
Yeah.
And the third one is insurance scams.
Yeah.
So you might burn your house if you behind on the payments, lost your job.
Your business. I think a local restaurant did that not too long ago here, y'all.
Yep. Burn your business or your home to try to collect the insurance money. But a lot of times there's financial evidence pointing back that you would likely start this because you were barely hanging on financially.
Yes. And it's pretty easy for you guys, fire investigators, to come in and see that happened. What are some of the ways you can figure out that somebody burned their own business down?
Yeah.
Or house down?
Generally, arson's very easy to prove that arson is the cause because of the way people use accelerants.
Like gasoline?
Gasoline.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Very easy to prove that it's arson. More difficult to convict someone of arson.
Yes.
A lot of times it's done at night.
So
there's lack of evidence.
Okay, even if they find the accelerant, they can't prove it was a particular person who did it?
Right.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah,
okay.
it was started, but who started it?
Got you.
Is the hard part.
You brought up something earlier that I thought was really interesting, that in natural disasters sometimes, like when Hurricane Katrina was happening, there were people who were starting fires in their businesses and homes, right?
Yeah. So the third one we're talking about is insurance claims.
Right.
So it ties in with natural disasters and the civil unrest.
Yeah.
So you could take the opportunity of civil unrest to torch your own building because there's so many buildings burning. What's just another one? And with all the confusion being difficult.
That one would be really hard to find, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us another one. What's another?
So the next one is using arson to cover up evidence of a crime.
Okay.
So, financial crimes where there's evidence, paperwork, or computers, and you're about to be investigated. Sometimes those people try to torch it all. So now
that there's the cloud and all.
Yeah, they can't go through their books, they can't go through their computer and find the evidence of them cheating someone.
That one would be harder now because we have the cloud. Lots of things go up on the cloud.
A lot of things.
Yeah.
There's better ways of getting evidence of those kind of crimes now.
Yeah.
But in my career, I've been to 3 fires that we discovered a dead body.
Yeah.
So they're trying to cover up their tracks of a murder by setting fire, hoping that there would be less DNA evidence, fingerprints.
Yeah. Which would mean that the body would have to be burned beyond recognition, which is morbid, horrible. I'm sorry if that triggers anybody, but... Yeah,
but all these instances, we were there quick enough that the body was still preserved, so they can, in the forensic investigation, they find out that the person did not die of smoke inhalation or fire. They were murdered beforehand.
Right. There's kind of a freaky one that I think you're going to bring up next, where people get sexually gratified from starting fires, correct?
I wanted to touch on the
Is that going to make you blush?
A little bit lesser one first.
Sorry.
There's juvenile fire setters.
Yes.
And that's children, mostly boys.
Yeah.
They get to a certain age, 7, 8, 9, all the way up to
12.
Teens.
I got a story about that.
And they're fascinated by fire. They want to build fires.
Yeah.
They like to watch fires. And they're just sadly, they're experimenting.
Yeah.
And there needs to be an intervention to those people.
Yeah.
By someone like you, professional, that figure out why they're doing that and try to channel their energy in.
Well, I hear that, but I also think there's this, so most little boys and little girls, honestly, at certain ages could be diagnosed with something called conduct disorder, but they really don't have conduct disorder. It's about not having moral development. It's about impulse control, but that will change as you develop. So lots of little kids did that. I'm sure you did stuff like that. I remember my brother and his friends who were like 4 years older than me taking aerosol cans and lighters, and we're all standing around with no parents around and causing these like fire.
Like a flamethrower.
A flamethrower. Yeah. Look, you smiled because little boys are like, right? They're like a flamethrower, right? It's dangerous, right? And they need to learn not to do that. But I don't think those folks are necessarily psychologically troubled. We just have to teach them about safety and impulse control and stuff like that.
Right. And a lot of the metropolitan fire departments around the country have juvenile fire setter programs.
Yes.
To channel these kids into counseling.
Yes.
Other outlets for their energy and their.
And so you're talking about, so there are people who would actually meet the criteria for conduct disorder, which is the younger person version of something called antisocial personality disorder, which is the same as sociopathy. So if you have a child who's consistently doing that, even though they've gotten in trouble, they know it's wrong, and they're doing other things like harming animals, breaking lots of other rules, I think they would be appropriate for that intervention and psychological intervention. So you're talking about a little bit more serious there.
Yeah, these programs try to but separate people who need serious intensive therapy versus the kid is just experimenting and they need to be taught how dangerous this is.
Yeah.
And there's all these trends now with the internet, even before Instagram and TikTok. There's teenagers playing with fire.
And eating Tide Pods, y'all. What?
So it's all very, very dangerous stuff.
Okay, now to the spicy one.
Okay.
And kind of creepy. I don't.
Yeah, this is the one that most firefighters can't even understand, can't comprehend. And we get excited going to a fire and putting out a fire.
Yeah.
But none of us that I know of get excited about starting fires.
Yes.
Well, there's a category of people that are pyromaniacs.
Yes. Which is a diagnosis in the DSM-5, which I had forgotten about. It's under impulse control disorders. Right. Yeah.
So these people are not motivated by revenge or money or anything like that. They just have a desire to burn things and watch things burn. And
it's a sexual desire, y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's hard to understand.
Yeah.
And
they get off on it. That's what we're saying.
This
is not a PG episode. They get off on it.
Yeah, and many of these have started hundreds of fires.
Yes.
Not many, but some of these have started hundreds of fires. There's a Thomas Sweat in D.C. that started between 250 to 300 fires before
gravy.
He was caught.
Yeah.
And
wow. And was he a fire chief, or was there another one that was a fire chief?
There's another one. The most prolific arsonist in the U.S. Was a Captain Don Orr of Glendale Fire Department. And between the 80s and 90s, he started 2,000 fires.
Wow.
And he was an arson investigator.
Yeah, so I want to bring up something there too. He made firefighters look bad, but people like that gravitate to certain professions. So he would gravitate toward firefighting to meet that need that he had, that illegal need. That's when you see pedophiles that gravitate toward places where they would have access to children. It's not that coaches are bad or clergy are bad. It's that the people who want to do those bad things gravitate toward that. And that's what he was doing. He gravitated toward firefighting, where he would have access and an ability, right?
Right.
So we want to make sure people understand that a lot of firefighters aren't doing that. Before we move on to good uses of fire, I wanted to bring up something. Doug's going to love this, y'all. Tell us when your house burned down. It's not funny, but
So I was 17, and my house caught fire.
On Christmas Eve.
Yeah. And
It's sad.
the juvenile fire setter thing was a factor. My little brother was playing with matches.
And he was little and he had no intention of doing that.
Right.
Yeah.
But the house was burnt completely down.
Yeah. So I often say to Doug, hey, you think that's why you're a firefighter? And Doug says,
No.
he does not believe that. But you know what? I do. And I'm a professional. And sometimes we argue about this. We're not going to argue right now, are we?
No.
Okay, good. Okay, so tell us some reasons people use fire in productive ways.
Okay, well, when people discovered how to start fires and control fire, thousands of years ago, it's been used.
Millions. Millions, thousands. I don't know. Do we know when someone discovered fire?
I wasn't
Maybe
there.
we do. I wasn't there either. Were y'all there? Y'all weren't there, were you? Okay.
So, like
it's
cooking
somewhere
food,
between thousands and millions.
warming your home, cooking food.
Yes. So a nice fireplace, yummy food.
Yeah, ceremonies.
Yes. So like Native American ceremonies and other ceremonies where fire, is an important aspect of that.
Vikings would burn
The funeral pyre.
their dead.
Well, they would put them on a boat and burn them, and then Zoroastrians will put a body on a fire and burn it, and that's a part of the burial and religious aspect of Zoroastrians. Yeah.
So, also there's refining metals.
Oh, yeah. Glass making.
Right. There's all kinds of industrial uses for fire. The internal combustion engine. There's thousands of little fires to propel your car.
Yeah, it's really terrifying if you think about it. Y'all be safe in those cars.
Sending rockets to the moon.
Sending rockets to the moon.
There's lots and lots of useful uses for fire.
We want those. We don't want the
I'll-
illegal and destructive ones.
I would say another way to starting fire that causes destruction that's not nefarious, but it's negligent fire starting,
Yes.
where you just decide to burn some debris,
Oh, yeah.
something like that, but it gets out because you're not doing the right thing. You can be held liable if it crosses your property.
Which brings up a really significant event that happened in the upstate of South Carolina when we had two huge fires. The biggest fires that were burning in the country were the Persimmon Ridge fire and the
Table Rock
fire, yes. And some young kids, teenagers, were smoking, they say tobacco, I don't believe it was tobacco, y'all, and accidentally started those fires. But that's a really big deal, and you can get in huge trouble for all the property destruction.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you are going to use fire, even in a useful way, do it safely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good job, honey. I'm so glad Doug was here today. Are you glad you were here today?
Yes.
Okay, good.